Dreams are often mistaken for fleeting fictions of the night, passing scenes with no purpose beyond confusing the mind. But in truth, dreams are not merely the byproducts of sleep, they are the very dialogue between body and soul. They are the language in which the invisible self converses with the visible one, the means by which the depths communicate to the surface. If you see dreams only as illusions, you will miss their sacred role as the bridge where the physical and the spiritual meet. The body, in its wisdom, rests because it must. Muscles release, the heartbeat steadies, the lungs breathe in rhythm with silence. And yet, in that stillness, something profound is happening. The psyche awakens in another dimension. The physiology of sleep provides the stage, but the dream itself is the performancia, the body providing the canvas, the soul painting upon it with images drawn from the unconscious. This is not simply biology. It is mystery carried by biology. When the soul wishes to speak, it often finds resistance in our waking hours. The ego, with its reason, its defenses, its stubborn insistence on order, silences what it does not understand. But in dreams, that resistance softens. The rational mind lays down its guard, and the body's surrender creates space. Then, the deeper self begins to whisper, not with words, but with symbols, with scenes, with strange distortions that nonetheless carry truth. The dream is not against the body, nor separate from it. The dream uses the body's rhythms as a doorway, as if the flesh were saying, "Now, rest. Now, I will hold you still, so the soul may speak." And the dialogue begins. The body and soul are not two separate entities locked in conflict, they are partners in existence. The body sustains life, the soul gives meaning. Dreams weave the two together in ways we cannot always explain. You may see a storm in your dream, and though no rain falls on your skin, your body feels the unease. You may dream of flight, and though your muscles do not move, your spirit tastes freedom. This is the miracle of the dialogue. The soul speaks in images, and the body responds with sensations, with emotions, with memory. Too often, people dismiss this dialogue because it does not appear logical. They say, it was only a dream. But what if the body's exhaustion and the soul's longing collaborated to create that vision? What if the dream was the self crying out for recognition? When you dream of being chased, the body may have carried the day's stress, and the soul may have clothed that stress in the form of a pursuer. When you dream of finding a hidden room, perhaps your body needed rest while your soul revealed a part of you long forgotten. Always, the two are in conversation, seeking to bring you toward awareness. This dialogue matters because it reminds us that we are not machines. We are not merely muscles, bones, and neurons firing in sequence, nor are we disembodied spirits floating above the earth. We are both. And dreams reveal this truth with startling clarity. In dreams, the physiology of the body becomes the sacred stage upon which the soul speaks its secret language. It is the union of matter and meaning, of flesh and symbol, of heartbeat and mystery. To honor dreams is to honor this dialogue. To record them, to reflect upon them, to notice their patterns is to say, I am listening. It is to accept that the soul has something to teach, and the body has something to hold, and both are needed for wholeness. If you silence your dreams, you silence half of yourself. If you attend to them, you allow body and soul to walk in harmony. When the body surrenders to sleep, a shift takes place that is far more profound than simple rest. Beneath the skin, the rhythms of the brain begin to change, the waves that carry consciousness soften, and a doorway opens between the waking mind and the unconscious. The physiology of dreams begins here, in these hidden patterns. To the scientist, it may look like nothing more than electrical impulses, bursts of activity in certain regions of the brain. But to the soul, it is the loosening of chains to the moment when the ordinary mind no longer guards the gate, and the depths are free to speak. In the waking state, the conscious mind reigns. It filters, organizes, rationalizes. It decides what is acceptable to feel, what is safe to see, what must be hidden even from oneself. This is why the unconscious often remains buried. But in sleep, when the body drifts into its cycles, that strict order relaxes. Rapid eye movement begins, the breath changes, the brain flickers with activity unlike the waking hours, and suddenly, the unconscious rises like a tide. In this space, the suppressed, the forgotten, the symbolic, all find expression. The dream takes shape. It is easy to mistake these shifts as mechanical, as though the brain were a machine turning on and off in predictable rhythms. But these rhythms are not mere mechanics, they are invitations. The slow waves of deep sleep allow the body to repair itself, but they also create silence, an empty canvas upon which the unconscious can later paint. The rapid waves of dream sleep ignite the theater of images, weaving symbols and stories that reflect what lies hidden beneath waking awareness. What looks like physiology is also psychology. What looks like biology is also poetry. The brain does not produce dreams like a factory makes goods. Rather, the brain provides the conditions, and the unconscious seizes them as an opportunity. When the guards of logic are down, the dream emerges with its strange and vivid language. This is why dreams often feel more real than reality itself, because the unconscious does not speak in half measures. It speaks in archetypes, in metaphors that strike the heart more powerfully than reasoned words ever could. And all of it becomes possible because of these shifts in rhythm, these openings in the physiology of the brain. But here lies the danger. To see dreams only as chemical events is to reduce the sacred to the mechanical. Dreams are not random bursts of neurons. They are the psyche's way of restoring balance, of revealing hidden truth, of rehearsing what the waking self is afraid to face. The rhythms of the brain do not diminish their meaning, they enable it. Just as the soil provides the ground for a seed to grow, so the brain's physiology provides the ground for the soul to bloom in dreams. Without the soil, the seed cannot rise. Without the rhythms of sleep, the dream cannot live. But without the seed, the soil remains only earth. The two are inseparable. And so, when you enter sleep, you are not simply resting the body, you are entering a state where the unconscious can speak freely, where the rhythms of the brain act as gateways rather than barriers. This is why people often wake from dreams with feelings so strong they linger throughout the day, as though the dream has carved itself into the very cells of the body. The physiology of dreams allows the invisible to leave traces upon the visible, the eternal to touch the temporary, the unseen to shape the seen. This is the great mystery hidden in plain sight. Your very biology carries within it the means for your soul to reveal itself. Each night, as the brain shifts, as the body rests, the dream world opens, not as an accident, not as chaos, but as a necessary dialogue for wholeness. When you understand this, you will no longer dismiss your dreams. You will see them as the fruit of both body and soul, born of rhythms ancient and essential, carrying truths you cannot ignore. The dream does not speak in the language of logic, nor does it use the tongue of ordinary words. Instead, it communicates through symbols, those strange, often puzzling images that rise in the night and cling to the heart even after waking. A dream may show you a house you have never lived in, a stranger whose face you cannot forget, or a storm that rages without rain. At first glance, these seem like nonsense, but when you look deeper, you realize that symbols are the vocabulary of the unconscious, and they are chosen with precision. They are the language of dreams because the unconscious cannot speak directly to the rational mind. It must veil its truth in images, metaphors, and archetypes that pierce beneath reason. A symbol in a dream is never accidental. It may carry many layers of meaning, some personal, some universal. When you dream of a river, it may reflect your own emotions flowing silently beneath the surface, or it may echo the ancient symbol of life's passage, the current of existence that none can escape. When you dream of being pursued, the pursuer may be a shadowy part of yourself, a fear you have ignored, or even the weight of a truth you are not ready to confront. These images are not literal, but they are not meaningless either. They are the hidden truths of the psyche, clothed in pictures because the soul does not speak the language of the intellect. Symbols are powerful because they bypass the defenses of the rational mind. In waking life, if someone were to tell you, you are avoiding your grief, you might deny it, dismiss it, or become angry. But in a dream, the unconscious may show you standing before a grave you refuse to enter, or carrying a heavy bag you cannot put down. You cannot argue with such images, you feel their truth immediately. The body responds with emotion, with unease, with recognition. That is why symbols are the natural language of dreams, so they go straight to the heart, beyond the reach of logic. Yet symbols also resist being reduced to one fixed meaning. They are alive. To say, for example, that water always means emotion, or that a snake always means danger, is to strip the dream of its depth. Symbols move like rivers. They shift depending on context, on the dreamer, on the moment of life in which they appear. To a child, a snake may mean terror. To a healer, a snake may mean transformation, the shedding of old skin. To reduce a symbol to one rigid definition is to miss its living truth. Symbols must be approached with reverence, with openness, as though they are doors leading to chambers of the soul that cannot be entered with force. When you begin to attend to symbols, you start to see how dreams weave them together into stories that mirror your own journey. A dream may place you in a vast forest, with a path you cannot find, and though you wake disoriented, you realize that this symbol reflects your waking life. You are lost, you are searching, you do not know which direction to take. In another dream, you may discover a key, and though you may not know what it unlocks, you feel a surge of possibility. The dream does not tell you plainly what to do, but it gives you symbols that ignite recognition, that stir the soul toward understanding. The physiology of dreams creates the stage, but it is symbols that provide the language. Without them, the unconscious could not speak. Imagine if your dreams were nothing more than words, plain and direct to you would likely dismiss them as the chatter of the mind. But with symbols, the dream imprints itself on you. You carry it through the day, you ponder its strangeness, and in that pondering, you are transformed. The symbol works slowly, like a seed in the soil, unfolding over time. It is not always meant to be solved immediately. Sometimes, its purpose is simply to awaken you to what lies within. And so, when you encounter a dream, do not rush to decode it as though it were a riddle with a single answer. Sit with the symbols. Ask what they stir in you. Ask what they remind you of. Ask what they demand of you. For the language of dreams is not meant to flatter you or entertain you. It is meant to awaken you to truths that cannot be spoken in any other way. Symbols are the voice of the soul, and when you learn to hear them, you begin to walk more consciously in both the dream world and the waking one. Emotion is the thread that weaves every dream together, the heartbeat beneath the symbols, the unseen current that gives life to the images of the night. Without emotion, a dream would be nothing more than a hollow picture, a lifeless sketch. It is the emotional charge that makes you wake trembling from a nightmare, or filled with wonder after a vision of light. The physiology of dreams allows the unconscious to speak. Symbols give it a language, but it is emotion that ensures the message is felt, remembered, and carried into waking life. When you wake from a dream, what lingers most often is not the exact details but the feeling it left behind. You may not recall the faces, the rooms, or the words, but you remember the terror of being chased, the relief of finding safety, the sorrow of loss, or the joy of reunion. This is because dreams use emotion as their anchor. Emotion ties the dream to the body. It is the bridge that connects the unconscious vision to conscious awareness. Without it, dreams would slip away like smoke, unnoticed and unheeded. But emotion in dreams is not always straightforward. Sometimes the intensity seems disproportionate to the scene. You may dream of a small argument and wake with overwhelming rage, or dream of losing an object and wake with crushing grief. This is not exaggeration, it is revelation. The unconscious amplifies emotion in dreams to demand your attention. It magnifies what you suppress in waking life, forcing you to feel what you have avoided. If you refuse to grieve by day, the dream may break you open at night. If you bury your anger, the dream may unleash it in dramatic form. Dreams do not distort emotion to deceive, they heighten it to heal. This is why dismissing dreams as meaningless fantasy is a grave mistake. The emotions they stir are not accidents, so they are truths unspoken in the daylight. A person who claims their dream of fear was just nonsense often fails to see that the fear belongs to them, to their waking struggles, to the parts of life they are unwilling to face. A dream that fills you with awe is not only a fleeting wonder, it is your soul reminding you of your hunger for transcendence, for connection to something greater than the mundane. Emotion is the compass of the dream world, guiding you toward the parts of yourself you must confront, accept, or embrace. Yet, The power of emotion in dreams is not only in its intensity but also in its mystery. Emotions in dreams can blend in ways rarely experienced in waking life. You may feel joy and sorrow at once, fear mixed with fascination, or love tangled with loss. Such contradictions reveal the complexity of the soul, the layers of experience the conscious mind often cannot hold. In waking life, we prefer clarity, happy or sad, safe or unsafe. But the dream insists on showing us that life is really so simple. By feeling two truths at once, the soul expands, the psyche deepens, and the self is invited into wholeness. And notice, too, how emotion in dreams does not stay confined to the night. The body remembers. Your heartbeat quickens when you recall a nightmare. Tears may rise again when you revisit a dream of loss. Emotion carries the dream into waking life, urging you to pay attention. It demands integration. You cannot leave it behind like a forgotten story. Instead, you are called to ask, what in my waking life echoes this fear, this longing, this grief, this joy? Where do these feelings live in me, unacknowledged? Emotion is not the decoration of a dream, it is its essence, its reason, its power. In truth, emotion is what makes dreams transformative. A purely intellectual message would be dismissed by the waking mind. But when the unconscious delivers its truth wrapped in emotion, it cannot be ignored. The dream shakes you, moves you, unsettles you, awakens you. And in that stirring, change becomes possible. The soul does not seek to inform you, it seeks to transform you. And for transformation to occur, you must feel. So when you awaken from a dream, do not ask first what it means. Ask what it made you feel. Sit with that feeling, honor it, and trace it back into your life. For the emotions of your dreams are not separate from you, they are you, revealed in their rawest form. They are the heart of the unconscious, beating through the symbols, demanding recognition. Dreams are not polite, they do not arrive at the door of consciousness with a clear introduction, neatly labeled as light or dark. They often come clothed in contradictions, showing us both what we cherish and what we fear, what we aspire to and what we reject. In this way, dreams are the natural arena where shadow and light meet, where the hidden parts of ourselves stand side by side with the parts we proudly display. It is through this strange dialogue of opposites that dreams serve their highest function, integration. For the dream does not seek to comfort us with only beauty, nor to torment us with only terror. It seeks to make us whole by weaving together all that we are. When we dream, the shadow reveals itself. The anger we deny may appear as a raging storm. The jealousy we suppress may show itself as a rival. The fear we conceal may emerge as a monster in the night. These figures are not enemies, so they are fragments of the self, long banished from daylight. By bringing them forth in dreams, the unconscious demands that we recognize them. The shadow is not there to destroy us but to remind us that what is unacknowledged still belongs to us. Ignoring it only gives it power, facing it allows us to reclaim it. At the same time, dreams do not only confront us with shadow, they also reveal light. They show us visions of possibility, glimpses of love, creativity, and transcendence. A dream may carry you to a mountaintop where the horizon stretches endlessly, or surround you with people who embrace you with unconditional warmth. These moments of illumination are as real as the nightmares, and they too must be honored. If the shadow reminds us of what we suppress, the light reminds us of what we have forgotten, that within us is strength, beauty, and the capacity to heal. What makes dreams so profound is that they rarely separate these truths. Instead, they entwine them, forcing us to hold contradictions we might otherwise avoid. A dream may plunge you into terror, only to reveal courage. It may confront you with betrayal, only to lead you toward forgiveness. It may bury you in grief, only to show you how much you loved. By demanding that we feel both darkness and light in the same breath, dreams mirror the fullness of existence. To deny either side is to live only half a life. This is why dreams resist being interpreted too narrowly. They are not moral tales that label one image good and another evil. They are conversations between parts of the psyche, and every symbol, whether terrifying or radiant, has its place. To dream of falling is not only to experience fear, it may also be an invitation to let go. To dream of death is not only to face loss, it may be a reminder of transformation. the closing of one chapter so that another may begin. The shadow and the light are never enemies, they are partners in the great work of becoming whole. When you begin to accept this, you no longer wake from nightmares wishing only to forget them, nor do you cling desperately to dreams of beauty as if they were fleeting gifts. Instead, you learn to honor them all. You see the nightmare as a teacher, pointing to what you must confront, and the vision as a guide, pointing to what you must embrace. You begin to understand that both are necessary for the balance of the soul. To know only the light is to live in illusion, to know only the shadow is to live in despair. To hold both is to live in truth. And this is the true physiology of dreams, and not merely that the brain fires images during sleep, but that the unconscious orchestrates a stage where shadow and light can meet, where the self can become more whole than waking life alone would allow. The dream is a nightly invitation to reconciliation, to balance, to the acceptance of our full humanity. Dreams are not idle wanderings of the night, they are guidance systems, subtle yet profound, pointing us toward balance, healing, and wholeness. They rise from the deepest layers of the psyche, where the conscious mind has no control, and they speak in a language that transcends reason. While science may describe them as neurological patterns, the soul knows they are far more. They are inner compasses, aligning us with what we have lost in waking life. To ignore dreams is to discard messages sent directly from the depths of one's own being, messages that are designed to restore harmony where chaos has taken root. When we wander through life unexamined, we become fractured. We carry unresolved emotions, buried fears, suppressed desires, and ignored longings. These fragments weigh heavily on the spirit, pulling us out of alignment with our true selves. Dreams step in as guides, drawing together these scattered pieces, often in startling ways. They reveal the hidden imbalance, not always through gentle reminders but through powerful images that shake us awake. A dream of drowning may reveal the suffocating burden of responsibilities. A dream of being lost may uncover a life lived without direction. Each dream, however strange, holds the map back to balance, if we are willing to study its terrain. Dreams also remind us that wholeness does not mean perfection. It does not mean becoming untouchable or flawless. Rather, it means integration of the acceptance of every part of ourselves, both the noble and the flawed. When a dream drags us into the shadow, it is not to punish us but to bring those rejected aspects back into the circle of the self. To dream of rage does not make you a violent being, it shows you where your anger, left unacknowledged, is calling for recognition. To dream of love beyond what you have experienced is not an illusion, it is a glimpse of the heart's true capacity. Through these revelations, dreams restore what was denied, making the soul less divided and more whole. In guiding us toward wholeness, dreams often use symbols of journey and transformation. You may find yourself walking through forests, climbing mountains, crossing rivers, or entering hidden rooms. These are not arbitrary backdrops, they are metaphors of the soul's path. A mountain may signify the growth required to overcome your limitations. A river may symbolize the flow of life, demanding that you release control and surrender to its current. A hidden room may suggest parts of yourself you have yet to explore. Each symbol is a signpost, pointing not outward but inward, toward the deeper truths that must be lived if you are to become complete. Yet the path to wholeness through dreams is not always pleasant. It is often uncomfortable, even painful. This is because dreams confront us with realities we resist. They strip away illusions and force us to see clearly. But in that confrontation lies freedom. A painful dream is often more transformative than a pleasant one, for it pushes us to grow, to confront, to heal. Dreams do not coddle the soul, they awaken it. And in awakening, they offer the greatest gift, alignment with one's authentic self. To live without listening to dreams is to live half a life. It is to ignore the guidance of the inner compass that points beyond survival toward meaning. But when you begin to honor them, record them, reflect on them, you discover that they are not random stories but sacred messages. They are nightly teachers, urging you to move closer to who you truly are. You begin to see patterns, connections, and synchronicities between the dream world and waking life, and slowly, balance returns. The fragmented self begins to knit together, and wholeness, though never final, becomes an ongoing process of discovery. Ultimately, Dreams are reminders that you are more than what you appear to be in waking hours. You are not only the role you play in society, not only the face you show to others. You are vast, layered, complex, and eternal. Dreams pull you into the depth, not to confuse you but to restore you. They are the sacred compass of the soul, leading you home to yourself, again and again. And so, we see that dreams are far more than fleeting images or idle imaginings. They are the language of the soul, the bridge between body and psyche, the mirror in which shadow and light meet. They carry the whispers of what we have buried, the guidance we have longed for, and the call toward wholeness we often ignore in waking life. To listen to dreams is to honor the deepest parts of ourselves, to embrace the shadow without fear, to recognize the light without clinging, and to walk each day with greater awareness of who we truly are. May you have the courage to heed the messages of your dreams, the wisdom to honor the symbols and emotions they reveal, and the strength to integrate their truths into your waking life. May your journey through sleep become a journey toward wholeness, clarity, and peace. Good luck on this sacred path, and thank you for allowing these words to accompany you today.